The Lizzie McGuire movie follows our title character from the hit Disney show and her two best friends, minus one, on an adventure with more plot holes in it than my employment history. I don't know what to tell you, Bed Bath & Beyond. Sometimes I just need to disappear for 3 weeks. Join me for a review that watches Lizzie celebrate her maturity as a high schooler by being swiftly lured into the identity theft plot of a sweet-talking Italian pop singer who looks like Fez from that 70s show. With heartwarming nostalgia, paper-thin subplot, and a funeral procession of 2003 fashion choices that has every character looking like they were forced to choose their outfit while trying to escape a blazing shopping mall. This movie truly is what dreams are made of, so join me for another installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other content, and we tear it up along the perforated lines to examine each little clip and understand, what am I looking at? Is it okay if my eyes hurt after? But today we've got something that I'm actually very excited about. This is not an eyesore of a movie. In fact, it's one that I have only good feelings for. Lizzie McGuire was one of my main idol growing up. She put a face and a voice to my social anxiety. So naturally, I'm excited to follow her on this big widescreen journey that she's on here in Rome. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this. It really helps support this channel, and most importantly, if you're new here, I would love to have you click that subscribe button. It looks like that right down there. I upload 2 new videos every week, so turn on notifications and you'll always be the first to know when something's coming in for a landing, like you just got to Rome on a school trip with Lizzie. Oh, by the way, I've also got merch of all so many types. If you've got a body, I've got something you can adorn it with. If you don't have a body and you're just a computer, that's even easier. Free shipping. Also, I have a Patreon where you can get exclusive benefits from me every month, like extra content and other things. This movie starts with a fun little sequence of Lizzie getting ready for a big day. What in the Agent Cody Banks is this? I didn't come here to see spy flicks and stuff, come on. In case you can't tell, they're opening up on Matt, the little brother, played by Jake Thomas, getting ready to spy on his sister. But I can tell from these close-ups on his fingernails that this child actor was malnourished. Can we grind up some multivitamins into the craft service fruit roll-up? Look at those lines in his nails. Not healthy. He sends a remote control car in that's actually videotaping Lizzie while she has fun in her room finding the perfect outfit for her junior high graduation. We get a fun bit of early thousands music in here too. Lizzie, I would never want to limit your 2003 vibe dancing, but those chunky heels are gouging the hardwood floors. Right off the bat, these fashion choices aren't aging well. Ooh, it looks like the Wicked Witch of the East is dating someone new. What are those shoes? Those feet look like a Bratz doll came to life and is here to kill me. Give us the Lizzie McGuire Final Destination crossover we deserve. Death was like, we noticed you're wearing horse hoof shoes, so we're gonna smash your head into the faucet, okay? Annoyingly, Matt, the little brother, has gathered embarrassing footage of all of this bedroom dancing. I know that when you're young, the standards of what embarrasses you are much lower. That's a different threshold. Someone sharing a video of you dancing in your bedroom, life ending. Ooh, there's dust floating. My house is dusty because I'm not supposed to live here. So we're at the junior high graduation and the whole gang from the TV show is here.
So, do I look okay?
Lizzie, I'm your guy best friend. You should really talk to Miranda about this stuff.
But she's in Mexico City.
And that's a good enough reason to never speak of her or think of her again. She died to us the day she stepped on that Carnival cruise ship. There are actually conflicting reports about why Lelaine, who played Miranda in the TV show, didn't appear in the movie. According to IMDb, so I guess the official reason is that she was going to pursue her music career. Okay, you maybe should have just done the movie. By the way, as far as like the show's canon goes, this movie is the end of Lizzie McGuire's story. However, new episodes of the Lizzie McGuire show continued to air for like a year after this movie came out. There were plans for Lizzie to do a spin-off series where she went into high school, but because the negotiations with Disney fell through, that plus a sequel to this movie never happened. And I sad about it. While we may not have Miranda there, we do have some other favorites from the TV show.
Only you would think that you could hide that powder blue, puffy sleeved, it's kind of a peasant dress that you wore to the spring dance.
What if that just revealed Lizzie's 2 pierced nipples and she was like, what about it? Sorry, Kate. You were the first one of us to get a bra, but Mama's got the hardware. Because the class president, valedictorian, is not available. By the way, it feels a little racist that the valedictorian at the school is Margaret Chan. Has to be an Asian character? Okay. Anyway, this means Lizzie, who is the treasurer of the school political party, what? Student council? She has to give the speech, and it doesn't go great. Someone tell Bonnie here that it's a lightweight fabric. She can calm down. It's nothing to undo your thyroid surgery over. It's a big mess that Lizzie knocked down this curtain, and apparently this is like the biggest news in the country.
I know you're still upset, but it wasn't that bad.
Oh, really, Mom? Was your junior high graduation on Good Morning America?
Sorry, sweetheart, it's 2003. The news stations are gonna air anything that breaks up the monotony of the war on terror. The plot holes for this movie begin before we even get on the plane.
What kind of creep would send Diane Sawyer a video to embarrass you like that?
Hello, it was your idiot son Matt. He was sitting right next to you filming it conspicuously with his video camera. This family is in terrible denial. They do not see that their son is a greasy weasel. Have him sterilized. For this movie, we have a new character, Mrs. Ungermeyer, played by Alex Bornstein. She's like the chaperone for the field trip.
She's gonna be our high school principal for the next 4 years. If you stay on our good side, it's a one-way ticket to an Ivy League school.
Someone tell Gordo that being friends with your principal is not a one-way ticket to college. It is a one-way ticket to giving meaty shoulder rubs in the teacher's lounge, so have fun with that. They write in a plot device to explain why it's such a small group of kids going on this school trip. I would have died to be one of the extras in this movie. Any movie where you're part of a contained group of people that doesn't talk for the whole movie is like such a dream, because you basically just like work for 6 weeks by sitting around all day and being in the background, and you're close to Hilary Duff. I'm not the kind of girl who gives up just like that. Oh no, oh, whoa. Here's the explanation for why the group of kids is so contained.
Now, Manning, actually most of your classmates opted for the 36-hour bus ride to the water slide wonderland. But you who are not mouth-breathing trailer trash.
Incidentally, the kids who chose a days-long bus trip to a water park over Italy make great targets for the army recruitment guys in the cafeteria. Gordo has this sort of subplot throughout the whole movie where he's trying to suck up to Mrs. Ungermeyer so that he can have a good time in college. No, not even college, high school. That's another thing. These kids are all playing like about to be freshmen in high school, but Hilary Duff was 16, almost 17 while shooting this. All of them look definitely older than 14, but that's okay. At least they are actual teenagers when they're playing this, unlike High School Musical.
I'm really looking forward to this exciting and academically enriching trip.
What's your name?
David Gordon.
Well, I think in Italian that means a sneaky brown noser with a hidden agenda.
It must also be Welsh for can't stop moving his arms. I never noticed this on the small screen, but once we get it in that cinematic cinemascope, I realized that the character who plays Gordo, Adam Lamberg, he overacts with his hands. He's always like, hello, Mrs. Ungermeyer. I can't wait to show you my binder full of words. I'm about to snap those forearms over my knee. So violent. I just said that he's a real child. There's this like touching moment where Lizzie is super nervous to leave her mother. She like is about to leave for the airport, and then she runs back and hugs her mom, and they're both crying. For whatever reason, they wanted to build this beat in, and I actually really liked it. It felt realistic, and it built weight into the fact that, I just said, this is a big trip for Lizzie. She's never done anything like this before, and it's her first step into being an adult. I wish we had more emotional moments like this throughout the movie, but that's okay. I'm not talking shit. But the writing is not super strong because we go right into weird montages like this. Finally, the Lizzie and Gordo sitting in chairs sequence that was just too hot for TV. For a movie of this caliber, I don't know why they couldn't give us just a little bit more on the plane than, I don't know, a sequence of them sitting again and again and again doing different things. Like, get the full plane set for this multi-million-dollar shoot and have a funny thing where like Ethan Kraft, the dumb one, doesn't know how the air sickness bag works and he puts his lunch in it. Or Kate is trying to get the most fancy mineral water from the flight attendant. Sorry. They could have had it take up the same amount of screen time, but be actually interesting to watch. That's just one of a few choices here where I'm like, oh, they kind of took the easy route on this script in just a couple places. Sorry. Lizzie, look out, his hair is trying to absorb your brainstem. That's how it feeds. My point is proven right after they get off the plane when we go into another montage of Lizzie and Gordo like are on the bus now, looking out the bus window at like all of these monuments. We just went from one sequence of them riding, like where we just dissolve from one shot to another of them being like, whoa. Oh, wow! Ooh, reading a map now? Why can't it be a little bit more of a cinematic experience like they're in a double-decker bus on top of a roof? I wouldn't ask for all of these big budget things if they weren't serving up a big budget movie. Let's see how much they were supposed to have paid for this. $17 million budget estimated, right? I can get a bus ride scene on a double-decker bus. Are you kidding me? And I know they weren't paying Hilary Duff fairly for this because I read that she only got a $500,000 bonus when this movie made more than $50 million at the box office. It's not my job to defend Hilary Duff's salary. Oh wait, yes it is. I like the hotel that they end up at in Italy. It has a lot of character, and I feel like throughout the movie you definitely get an accurate sense of space where you're like, oh, the lobby, this interesting elevator, their room upstairs, and they use that to their advantage in the story, like having Hilary sneak around. I actually really appreciate this over them showing like some generic looking hotel that doesn't feel like it's in Italy. Mrs. Ungermeyer has the hotel's assistant manager, I forget his name, but he's like a former Italian general who's going to keep watch at the kids, and he's like kind of a bumbling fool.
Promise me that when we're here, we'll find adventures. All right, this is our chance to start over. I mean, do anything that we want to do.
Lizzie, it's important you understand that Europe also has laws. She said, Gordo, we're American tourists. Let's go on some sacred monument. Or just go to some museums. Don't do whatever you want. Go to some museums and learn some stuff. The next day, they're at that famous Italian fountain. I know it from this movie, where you throw a coin in and you can make a wish.
Isabella? I'm sorry, it's just, you look an awful lot like a friend of mine.
That's okay, you look an awful lot like a friend of mine's mother. Paulo told the barber, I want Uncle Jesse length with Farrah Fawcett feathering. Also, everyone in this movie is wearing those rimless sunglasses. Very early thousands, I love that. We don't need rims, cause there's no border on our future. This Paulo guy is clearly taken with Lillery, so he follows her to the gelato shop where the kids are all eating gelato shop.
Sergey, doesn't she look exactly like Isabella?
I'd be like, I don't know who Isabella is, lady, but I only accept soft cheeses from strangers. So either you squeeze a ball of mozzarella into my fist or get to step in. By the way, I'm pretty sure a wheel of Parmigiano Reggiano would weigh 70 pounds and cost like $1,000. The cheese is serious. Paulo explains he's in a musical duo with another woman named Isabella who looks exactly like Hilary. They see it on a billboard. And Paulo wants to meet Lizzie the next day. So she's like, I probably can't, but I'll think about it. Also, she just gives this wheel of cheese to Gordo to carry. It's like, okay, that's your responsibility now, I guess. That night, Lizzie is listening to their music.
If you're into the Alanis Morissette alternative, dark, brooding, I never go out into the sunshine and my life's a miserable black hole of depression kind of thing, then you'd think they stink. For like driving around in the car with the top down, putting on your lip gloss, loving life kind of thing, they're good.
I think as long as it's loud enough to drown out your run-on sentences, I'm gonna love it. They said we can't do as much cartoon Lizzie in the movie, so let's just see how long we can make human Lizzie talk for. Also, stop verbally describing songs that I'm never gonna hear. It's cheap and unsatisfying, like the Lizzie McGuire Flash games that I played on this unsecured website. I wish instead they could have given us a couple other original songs from Paulo and Isabella so that we could get like, oh, there's other songs on the soundtrack that are fun and fit in, but that's another kind of shortcut they took here. They just have Lizzie describing it to Gordo. Gordo kind of encourages Lizzie to go meet Paulo. He'll help cover her sneaking out. I don't really see this happening. Like, I feel like Gordo usually cares so much about Lizzie, and he has so much common sense later on in the movie that he would be like, why would you sneak out with this person? Like, no, don't do it. It's a bad idea. But instead, he's fully encouraging her. He's like, we said we want to have an adventure, and this is the first one is yours, so you go do this. I'm like, unsupervised 14-year-old? Like, Paulo is supposed to be 17, but that's an adult bodyguard. He could be like the one who's manipulating this guy or grooming Paulo to go collect little girls for human trafficking. I don't know, maybe the early thousands this kind of thing didn't come to mind so much, but I'm like, this is an unsafe trip. Mrs. Ungermeyer, the ratio of chaperones to students on this thing is out of whack, and you're gonna be held accountable. I want €6 for every child who dies under your care.
Do you have any recommendations?
Oh, yeah. This young woman should stay in a bed.
Great, now let's gather some medical advice from someone who doesn't work at the front desk of a hotel, shall we? But in reality, Lizzie jumps out of bed and sneaks off to meet Paulo for a quintessential Vespa ride inspired by Roman holiday.
Are you sure you know how to drive this thing?
This is Rome. Nobody knows how to drive.
They just instantly careen into the side of the Pantheon. I told you I cannot drive. Back in the States, we catch up with little brother Matt and his friend Melina, who we know from the show to be sort of like a devious, money scheming type of girl.
We've been over this before. You're weak. Don't do anything without consulting me first.
Sweetheart, can you cheat out to the camera? This is your close-up, and all I'm getting is a curtain of your corn silk strands. I'm not sure what kind of directing that is, but I need to see your face if you're gonna be saying stuff on camera. If I can't see your mouth moving, it's unusual. I don't know what you're saying. I think the directing on these two characters, Matt and the child actors in general, is like a little weak for me. They're like, it's not translating to the big screen so well.
Actually, Sergey's my bodyguard. So you see, between me and Sergey, you'll always be safe.
No 15-year-old girl is safe with two strange men in a foreign country. You know the next cute, charming guy hanging around that fountain? He was hunting for fresh, young skin to make into Italian leather shoes. His name was Donatella Versace. Paulo just loves showing Lizzie all around the town. Sorry, Plantilla.
And over there by that statue, you see it?
Sorry, no, all I see is that this shot has a cameo from Chucky. Yesterday, I had this little weird baby tooth removed from my head. You guys wanna see it? It was like a 6th wisdom tooth that I've had removed. Is that the weirdest little tooth you've ever seen in your life? Bone loss was one of my main resolutions. On their little Italian date, Paulo is explaining exactly how Lizzie is going to help him with his little plan.
The record company is threatening to sue her if she doesn't show up.
I can go solo. But Isabella, she needs the help to sing.
You mean Isabella lip syncs?
I got my crazy idea that maybe you could pretend to be Isabella for one night and present the award with me on stage.
Why do you want to help Isabella avoid a lawsuit so much? It's not fair, okay? Lizzie doesn't have enough dating experience to be suspicious anytime a man volunteers to be helpful unprompted. Right off the bat, I know something's wrong. I don't know if as a kid I would have understood like that excuse doesn't make sense, but I think it's supposed to be already raising our suspicions. The mechanics of this plot device don't make sense, but it's okay. They don't need to in this case because he's an untrustworthy character, as we find out. Yay. Ooh, it's exploding. When Lizzie tells Gordo how she had the most amazing date ever, Ethan Kraft comes out and is like, I see what's up here, Gordo. And he's like, you have a feeling for Lizzie. You have a feeling for her.
No, see, that would mean that I like Lizzie as more than a friend.
Or as they say in Italian, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. That's what Gordo looks like every time he talks. He's like, that would mean that I like Lizzie as more than a friend? I can't believe it. Back at home, Melina and Matt are both figuring out more and more about what's going on in Italy.
This girl looks freakishly like my sister. Another freakish coincidence. I mean, she has the same necklace as my sister's. Why do we even pretend you're in charge?
That's a good question. This kid can't even pronounce coincidence. Another freakish quiz.
Another freakish coincidence.
Basically, Melina explains, oh, if you just tell your parents about this, it's worth nothing. But if we sell all of this embarrassing footage you have in this suitcase to the Italian tabloids, you'll be making money off of this whole scheme. Meanwhile, Lizzie is continuing to pretend to be sick, and we get more kind of untied up ends here. Like the teacher is like, since you're not at school, I'm gonna give you this whole report on the decline of Rome. That shouldn't be a problem, is it? And like drops a huge book in her lap. This never pays off as something that she needs to do. She doesn't even like go to some Italian nerd and be like, I'll give you €3 if you do my report. It's almost like this movie is giving us little flavors of conflict that might feel like they're familiar from other movies, but they're never fully realized. Definitely not something that a child viewer would understand or see, but watching this now, I'm like, oh, why did they say that if they never followed up on it? During this Vespa scene, we hear Lizzie's kind of title song, Why Not, which I love. Why not do a crazy dance? Because I'm trying to hold on to all this anima fluid, Hillary. When Ethan and Gordo are out at the monuments, they see Lizzie on front of the magazine, so he goes up to the girls and basically asks them to translate.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Do you guys speak English?
Yes. It is your friend we like.
Oh, why did she say that like the witch from Hansel and Gretel? Yes, it is your friend we require by our cauldron side. Bring him to us with his tender liver. Can we get someone other than Broomhilda McJohnson to play the Italian teenager? Thanks. For Hillary, the fun just doesn't stop because we go into this scene where she's getting fitted for a new outfit from this fancy Italian designer named Franca. And we have the iconic montage where we see fun fashions from Lizzie, including the inflatable igloo look that I love. She has this one where she's wrapped up in a zipper and is spun around when a dog pulls on it. Oh, I really like the little hat that's made out of a magazine. I thought that was very fashion. But of course, Lizzie doesn't feel comfortable in any of these crazy outfits, so Apollo convinces her to speak up for what she wants. This is a little moment of Lizzie coming into her own and learning to be an adult and use her voice.
I really like these two. You pick.
Both.
Both? Wow, this is the exact same color that I wore to my spring formal, and Danny Kessler thought that I look. Look at all of you. You think that I'm American. I am how you say, awesome?
Why does this dialogue feel like nobody noticed that they skipped a page when photocopying the original script? Look at all of you. You think that I'm American. I am how you say, awesome? Okay. After the fitting, Hillary is so in love with her life because she's really living the dream.
Goodbye, Lizzie McGuire. Hello, fabulous.
Okay, well, let's go wash those fabulous hands because this is the area where Italian pigeons come to have diarrhea. Throughout the movie, we have these situations where Gordo has to help Lizzie avoid being detected by her class who are out on tour in the same area as her. At one point, he has to create a distraction while they're on a Vespa in front of their school bus. And here he gets in front of Kate, who's gonna videotape her far away on accident. Paulo, Sergei, and Lindsay, that's her name, have to rush back to the hotel. And Sergei, the bodyguard, is starting to get in on the fun.
Thanks.
Lizzie McGuire reminds me of my own daughter, who I accidentally crushed as a baby. This little ruse gets by on Mrs. Ungermeyer, but Kate is not so stupid.
You are so busted. You've been out of this hotel room.
How do you know?
Please. Your eyebrows finally match. Your hair has highlights. Fresh manicure.
Lizzie's wig just flew out the window and is hanging off the Leaning Tower of Pizza right now. Kate said, I know you're a liar because you finally have your look together for once, bitch, and it took 12 people to help. Congrats.
How is Lizzie McGuire living this fantasy and I can't even get an Italian boy to buy me a plate of spaghetti?
You don't think maybe it's because you dress exclusively like Nancy Reagan? The pantsuits that they've got on Kate are from another era. She said, I think 14-year-olds wear white gloves. Gordo comes in with that tabloid and some bad news.
It says that Paulo and Isabella are supposed to be singing at the music award. Paulo didn't tell you?
No.
Don't you think it's kind of weird that he tried to hide this from you?
Maybe it's just a last-minute thing, Gordo.
Aren't these things planned for like months in advance?
When did he become an expert on Italian award show thingies?
It's called common sense.
It's weird that this common sense starts ringing alarm bells after your best friend snuck off with two strangers in Italy. But Gordo has a point. It's weird that Lizzie didn't know that she's supposed to be singing at this thing. Meanwhile, little Matt with his stupid spiky hair is at it again, trying to get all up in this Italian business.
Since Lizzie's in Europe, I thought I'd do a little e-search on Italy.
Remember in the early thousands where people could just make up terms about the internet and see if it stuck? E-search. Basically, Matt's plan is to bring up all this dangerous stuff that's happening in Italy. And then he's like, oh, you saw through my ruse.
It's just so hard. I miss her so much.
Oh, I can't believe I let you talk me into letting her go on that trip.
I'll go get the passports.
Ooh, impromptu trip to Italy for 3? The privilege is stunning. Darling, Pellegrino in the fridge. Fruit snacks. What kind of middle class nonsense is this? Down at his little smart car, Lizzie asks Paulo, she's like, am I singing in this thing? What's the truth? And he starts to spin this whole yarn about why it's happening.
Isabella and I were going to sing, but after Isabella would not speak to me, I told the producers we refused to perform. I said Isabella had throat problems.
Okay, well, can you stop almost killing these sheep with your car? God, he came up real fast on that innocent herd.
So what happened?
A reporter heard us speaking in front of the gelato shop, and he reported Isabella's voice was fine. But then the record company called, and now they're going to sue if we don't sing.
Paulo, your story is very suspicious, like a gray meatball. They should reboot this, but Paulo actually killed Isabella and is using Lizzie to cover it up. Where's the body? I don't understand. Like, he's basically like, well, I told the record company that Isabella had voice problems, but then the reporter heard you talking and said, oh, she sounds great, so now she has to sing it again or she gets sued. That's a really convoluted story with too many details for me me to believe. I've seen enough Dateline to know you be lying up in here with your long feathery hair and your leather jacket.
So what is Isabella gonna do when she sees me being her?
But she won't. She's off on some island trying to get over all of this.
And then we what, just hide that this music video awards performance ever happened from her friends, and her family for the rest of our lives? This is what dreams are made of, really? I can't even commit to a kombucha flavor. But Lizzie doesn't see all of these implications. She's too caught up in the magic of fireworks, which we don't have in America.
This is so beautiful.
Yes, you are.
Boo! You're dressed like a bank teller from the 70s. Somehow, Matt's plan worked. Like, these parents and this son can't go 2 weeks without their daughter being in the house, so they have to get on a plane for 15 hours to go see her. I mean, I get that it's just an excuse to get the whole family together for the final act performance, but I mean, I don't really think we needed this, especially if the whole point of this movie is how Lizzie is leaving the nest a little bit and learning to be independent. Why couldn't we have had whatever final performance we're headed towards be aired on television and just have the family at home being like, oh my God, that's Lizzie on TV, do. And then Melina can be there, all of the other friends from home can be there instead of us just ditching them in the first half of the movie. That would have worked better for me, but whatever, I get it.
Hey. What do you got there, little man?
Nothing?
All right, tell me what you know that I don't.
Way to open your top secret suitcase literally right next to your dad. I want to take those swimming goggles and snap them back so hard that you go flying out the tail of this plane. Lizzie is just getting more and more bold with her attempts at sneaking out of this hotel.
All right, people, swallow those biscotti. We got a big day, the Pantheon.
What in the Muppet Theater was that? That was a flash mob version of the Lady Marmalade video. She said, have fun with your book report, bitches. This is where things start to go off the chain a little bit. So Lizzie has just left the hotel and Mrs. Ungermeyer's suspicions are raised where she's like, I'm gonna go check on Lizzie right now.
You know, I'm beginning to get the feeling she was never sick to begin with. You know, I bet this whole thing was just a clever ruse to sneak out of this hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Lizzie's upstairs. It's me. I'm the one who's been sneaking out.
You, the one who's been present and accounted for this whole time, it was the perfect cover-up. This movie is just trying to close up plot lines using gravity at this point. Lizzie is still living her fantasy though. Paulo takes her to some big stage and they start rehearsing this number so that she can dance and sing to it, and she practices lip syncing for him.
I could almost kiss the stars for shining so bright.
Wow, even her singing voice sounds exactly the same, but with blonde hair. This looks like a deleted scene from The Hunchback of Notre Dame where Quasimodo teaches Esmeralda how to flash dance. When Lizzie gets back to the hotel, she finds out that Gordo had been sent home because she took the fall for Lizzie sneaking out, which again, doesn't make any sense, but you know, we live. Despite her best efforts, the plane has already left, so Lizzie thinks that she's basically lost her chance to help Gordo get back here and make things right. Gordo, on the other hand, back at the airport, is a different story. I guess no one was gonna accompany this minor on to make sure he got on the plane okay, but whatever. He sees Isabella at the airport.
Who is this girl? Can somebody please tell me what is going on?
I can. That's my friend Lizzie McGuire.
Let him go. Let him go. I demand for you to tell me everything.
That Italian glamour cop was like, why did you stop me? I was going to strangle the child. At the hotel, Lizzie has her darkest hour before the dawn where she's in bed all upset that she's ruined Gordo's life, basically ruined his future. I don't know why she thinks that. I mean, like, he'll get over it. And she doesn't even want to perform, so Kate has to talk her into it and be like, all of this work will be for nothing if you leave. So the plan continues as planned. That was from the Kids Bop version of the Amanda Knox story. It's a lot more slapstick and fun. Lizzie's parents and brother arrive and they're like, we demand to see our daughter. So that's when the truth hits the fan and everybody heads to the crazy ruins where this red carpet event is happening. I love that it takes place outside of like the actual ruins where the gladiators were fighting. When she gets a little nervous, Paulo is like, girl, you shine like the light of the sun. So she's like, oh, that's so beautiful. He must really like me. And Gordo's here to be like, I hate to burst your bubble, but he actually hates you and thinks you suck.
Listen to me. Paulo is setting you up.
Actually, he is setting me up.
Freaky, huh?
Yeah, what are the odds that you both have the exact same makeup on except for lip color? This shot was clearly trying to show off that split camera motion capture angle thing that every movie was trying to do at the time. Basically, the camera is on a robotic dolly that can capture the same movement exactly, so they can shoot the scene twice with Lizzie playing both characters and then just lay them together. They since then have done entire movies using this, but apparently it was really hard at the time. They could only get this one shot in.
Paulo doing his own music and going solo, that's Isabella.
See, Paulo is the one that lip syncs, not me.
All this finger pointing when both of you seem to fake your Italian accent. Someone explain that to the tabloids.
This has all been some crazy scheme to set you up and embarrass you on stage so it looks like Isabella can't sing.
A plan that Isabella could instantly undo by singing live anytime without Paulo. I swear, Paulo's motivations throughout this movie would make more sense if they found out he was part dog and Lizzie had some bacon in her pocket the whole time. Because his plan is so convoluted and strange that once you look at it, you're like, really? That's what he was trying to do? If you were gonna try to ruin somebody with a doppelganger of them, wouldn't Paulo have been taking Lizzie out to different places in Italy, making her think like, oh, it's gonna be a great romantic date, and then some big embarrassing thing happens like, oh, the waiter spilled the spaghetti on her, or oh, the fountain, she fell in the fountain. I think it could have been funny to see that, like, Paulo kind of setting up these embarrassing mistakes, and that's what the family back home was seeing and being like, we gotta go get her. Regardless, Isabella convinces Lizzie by being like, what? Let me guess. He told you, you shine like the light of the sun. And Lizzie's like, oh my God. Paulo was gonna turn off Lizzie's performance track so that they just heard her bad voice and made Isabella look bad. But Gordo fixes this by laying in Isabella's real singing voice over Lizzie.
I could almost kiss the stars for shining so bright.
I go, oh, oh, oh.
This is what dreams are made of.
Sing to me, Paulo.
Bold choice to give the best line of the movie to Isabella, and also maybe the best line in America's cinema. Eat shit, Stanley Kubrick. Now that it's proven that Paulo can't sing, he's laughed off the stage.
Lizzie McGuire is a nice girl. You tried to hurt her.
For that, I snap off 3 of your fingers like Kit Kat. While this is going on, you kind of hear Isabella on stage being like, Paulo lied to you all, and blah, 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 blah. I feel like that's a deleted scene that they actually shot and could have played like to the camera, but they were like, I don't think we need this much over-explaining. Let's just move it on. Haley Duff is somewhere in a sound booth being like, this is totally enough for me. This is the iconic What Dreams Are Made Of song. I love this song. I've been singing it for the whole week. After quarantine is over, the only people I want at my birthday party are those denim dancers going, hey now. I don't care what we have to do to find them.
Yesterday my life was duller. Now everything's technicolor. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of.
We've reached a point of fantasy in this story where I'm starting to think this is Lizzie's deathbed hallucination. That plane went down somewhere over Phoenix and she's like, I'm a star.
Somebody to love. This is what dreams.
Hilary Duff's body double in this shot was the blueprint for Lady Gaga's entire Super Bowl performance. Also, this Coliseum she's in, is she about to fight a lion? The music video awards are in the dustiest old ruins of ancient Greece. Back at the hotel, everyone's in the post-coital bliss of Lizzie's beautiful performance. She's world famous now because of this.
Like, what about you not ratting out Lizzie? I mean, that was just so... Not you.
If I wanted to see some man slurp down noodles, I would lurk outside the ramen shop again. Mrs. Ungermeyer and Sergei meet up because of course they do. That just had to happen. Like, I don't think Miss Ungermeyer is gonna work out in a long distance relationship, but you tell me. And we finally end the movie with this beautiful, touching moment that gets us right set up for the high school adventure of Lizzie that we will never see.
Gordo?
What?
What if when they pulled apart there was a long strand of spaghetti connecting them? Reverse Lady and the Tramp, that's what high school's all about. What do you guys think of the Lizzie McGuire movie? Is this what your dreams are made of? It definitely gave me all the nostalgic feels, although I was surprised to see how many plot holes this had that I couldn't remember before. Felt a little easy on the script sometimes, but hey, It was fun, it was well made, so I'm here for it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns just like this one. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right down here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. Also, I've got merchandise and I've got a Patreon where you can get exclusive membership benefits like exclusive bonus content and other extras and goodies. So check that out if you're interested. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for living your pop star fantasy with me and Lizzie Hillary today. I will see you next time.